Hey, good morning everyone, friends. How's it going? How are you? Welcome to a new video today. Today we are going to talk about the Philadelphia change poll by George. The reality is that this operation for me is excellent. I think that's what Philadelphia has needed in the last 3 years, for years to be nominated for the title. And it seems to me that Philadelphia finally has a pretty complete team. Paul George signs 3-year contract with Philadelphia, and this aspires to be a future project that can compete against Boston Celtics. It means that Philadelphia is obliged to win the championship. Let's see. The reality is that now there is competition for the NBA championship. It's very complicated. We have Dale Smash Berwick adding Clintonson to his team. We also have to the Boston Celtics team. That for me, if I am asked a future prediction, I think it is going to be a possible dynasty of winning 2 or 3 championships led by this Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But the reality is that Philadelphia needed a top Eves, and he already had a good baseman and a good pivot like Maxwell and Joel Embiid. And now on forward, George makes me feel that I am in a very, very complete team. A player who knows how to shoot from half distance, another player who knows how to shoot 3, and a completely dominant player that I invited. And that, for my taste, but let's make a very quick analysis of what Philadelphia is today. Let's see, we are talking about it being a very complete team in every way. And in fact, I had the feeling that Paul George sooner or later was going to arrive in Philadelphia. I am a follower of Paul George's charisma, and I have seen him comment many times that for him, Joel Embiid is the most complete player in the league, and had given several clues that made one think he wanted to play with Joel Embiid. Because Joel Embiid, to tell the truth, I agree with him. For me, he is the best player in the league. We are talking about one of the tallest players, stronger, more dominant, and who are less afraid when it comes to painting. He knows how to pull distance. He knows how to shoot threes. He is a player that, for me, I don't want to compare it to Shaquille O'Neal, but I think is what Shaquille O'Neal could have been like if he had been a more complete player. I believe that with the arrival of Paul George, then makes a very honest man. I think Joel Embiid often ends up injured making the playoffs because it has a very heavy workload. The Philadelphia project is a good project.
Yes.
But also grateful to have important figures. In fact, most of its good players have been drafted. That this has a lot of merit on the part of the Philadelphia staff. But to tell the truth, Maxite is a player that I love, highly undervalued. I think because of the NBA fans, I think it will take a few years to value it, and I think he is a player who can average you perfectly well in one season between 22 and 24 points. But I think at the defensive level and in terms of passing, organization and assistance has these shortcomings. I think Paul George can compensate quite well. What you can do at level and also at pass level, and thus generate chances of good baskets, not good spas. So we're talking about a team that basically votes well, who has a very good player on the wings through open areas, and has one of the strongest players on the inside of the field. What could be the weak point of this team? Well, I explained them to you. The weak point of this team, first of all, are 3 factors. Paul George is not the 27, 28-year-old player. I would love it to be. I think he is 32 or 33 years old, is already of an age. Likewise, the NBA players, because they already last a little longer than 30 years, but it is still a certain risk. Joel Embiid, I believe that this season he has to work on a management of minutes. Take it more calmly. I know he is, for me, he is the best player in the league. But unfortunately, thanks to his height and weight, because it is quite complicated. Arriving at that final stage without a serious injury is normal. In fact, I am not going to criticize him because I think he carries a team. He does not have a team such as LeBron James with Anthony Davis, with D-Rush and Angelo, that he can perfectly well rest for a few days and know that his team will continue to compete. Maxey was waiting for 4 months in Philadelphia, taking them to the playoffs by himself, because let's see, the rest of the team, it's not that it was very top-notch, and yet Philadelphia was able to qualify for playoffs without Joel Embiid. After 4 or 5 months of injury, then this must be taken into account. Then among the weak points, Joel Embiid's lessons are key. Manage them thanks to the arrival of Paul George. For having a leader on the team that allows you then recover Joel Embiid and also know that you have more 3-point shots. This season, Philadelphia, I think, could have been more than 3 successful, but the reality is that there was no other shooter more apart than Maxite and in quotation marks Joel Embiid that can do it. But I don't know. No, I wouldn't ask that. I was doing it constantly. I honestly don't like the pivots very much. Are players who are looking for a because, well, the truth is that if you are such a dominant and strong player, your participation in the game is key to be able to earn those save points by 2. That is, the truth is that scoring 4, 5, 6 consecutive points, no problems of 2. The truth is that it is securing the game. And when you really get on a bad 3-point shooting streak, I personally was a big fan of James Harden's project. Joel's Mike said on beat, that Sixers season, I'll never forget it. It is a pity that James Harden and the president, I don't remember his name right now, they haven't had the best relationship. I think it was a project with potential. Frankly, it didn't work, but let's see. To be very honest, I think Paul George is a little more hungry to win a championship, and I think it also has a much more regular performance. James Harden, I consider myself a big fan of James Harden, but to tell the truth, because that is the situation. Well, friends, to conclude the video, to tell the truth, for it is a very good operation on the part of Philadelphia. I hope they make some moves, and I think Philadelphia would need a good pivot winger or a good point guard. I think those are 2 positions that I would like Philadelphia to reinforce. If I had to comment any name, I would like us to get a little closer to Damon Green. I know he is a very controversial player right now, but for me, he's one of the best defenders of the league and is very noticeable because he is the only one who knows how to defend it in Golden State, and you can tell the difference when he plays and doesn't play. Besides the fact that I think Maxide is a shooter, if I had to compare it to someone other than your position, specifically with Michael Porter Jr., well, they really are players who receive and throw, are not much to vote for, organized, distribute game. And I think it would be nice if Philadelphia had a player profile. I'm going to pass, more with that low profile that we do not expect more than 10 points per season, but rather that profile of generating games, spaces. In fact, Chris Paul would have been a pretty interesting option, but I believe that the salary cap would have been overstepped. Or not, who knows? Well, friends, I was Mr. Hawthorne. Was all for today's video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel of Mr. Bye.